Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I want to talk about manifestation today, but not in the way that I feel like a lot of people have become used to with social media and all of these fluffy buzzwords that seem to be popping around there. I want to talk about very practical manifestation tips, practices, and advice that I have gathered and how I've really manifested a lot of the things I have in my life and at the speed that I also do that. The biggest thing that I always was asked was, how do you seem to just have things happen for you? My family would always say that I would fall in the Clyde and come out with 2 salmon. The River Clyde in Glasgow, you are not getting salmon from. However, I would fall in and come out with 1 in each hand. The thing that I can attribute that to is the fact that I've always been very in tune with spiritual practices. I've always been in tune with the things like law of attraction and manifestation. Ever since a friend of mine gave me a book called The Secret when I was 17, 18, and ever since then, I just realized, okay, we actually are the creators of our reality and we get to decide what happens in our life. Having said that, I do think there are a lot of things that happen that are lessons or blessings in disguise. They are opportunities, even if they are very, very difficult. I've had my fair share of trauma, big T and small t, in my life from childhood all the way up to my adult years. And I definitely feel like I'm not saying that everything is sunshine and rainbows and that we can avoid those things. I do feel like a lot of those things have contributed to me being the person that I am today and having the viewpoints and the perspectives that I do have to share with people. So one thing that I wanted to say about manifestation is on social media, it can very much sound like this fluffy thing where we sit on the sofa, we just think that we want to be a millionaire, and then all of a sudden we become a millionaire. I think a lot of Instagram accounts have definitely pushed it towards or made it sound like that's the thing that happens. If you're thinking negative thoughts, well, that's why everything bad is happening to you in your life. And I am not one to push that agenda. I don't believe in that whatsoever. What I fully believe in is practical manifestation, aka practical action taking that aligns with us, aligns with who we are, what we want, what we value, and gives us an outcome that is appropriate for us in our time of our life. So the very first thing that I would say with manifestation is you have to know what it is that you want, what you need, and what you value the most. When you are in alignment with those things, you will then find it a lot easier to know what action to take and when to take and in which order. When you think about manifestation, yes, there is very much this sense of we can have anything that we want. I truly believe that if we can see it already, if we can dream it, then we can absolutely have those things. They are there for a reason. We have thought of those things for a reason. But when it comes down to actually having that in your life, you have to take the right kind of action in the right kind of timing for that thing to happen. For me, if we think about the Australia move, that's been 10 years in the making. Now, the reason that that took 10 years, in my opinion, is because the one principle of manifestation, to detach from your desire and to surrender, was something that I never understood how to do. I am very much probably through my childhood trauma, that I need to control a situation. I need to be certain when I have those things, then I feel safe, then I feel productive, etc., etc. I fully believe that the reason no action happened or no movement was happening with our Australia move until 18 months ago, because I did not understand how to detach from my desire and surrender. And even as a generator type in my human design, the one thing that we have to learn to do in this lifetime is surrender. What that means is not to decide, okay, well, I don't want that thing anymore, I'm not bothered about it, whatever will happen will happen. It's not that. It's deciding that you are going to take your mind out of the equation, because I feel like our mind conditioning, the beliefs that we've got because of the people that brought us up as children, etc., that is all getting in the way. There's a saying that I love, that it's you are your own problem and your own solution. And I feel like with manifestation, that is the case. When you can get your mind out of it and you say, okay, I'm open to getting that desire that I have in any which way. I'm surrendering my idea of how things have to play out and what has to happen in order for me to have that. And I'm open to different opportunities. I'm open to people helping me along the way. I'm open to a new perspective. Then that opens us up and surrenders us and detaches from the desire so that the thing can actually happen. And when we are more open to other avenues, opportunities, perspectives, what happens is our brain, our intuition starts to have a clear path to say, well, why don't we try this? I'm open to having this conversation today. I'm open to putting something on my Instagram and asking for advice. There are two key moments in our Australia goal where myself and my husband had a conversation where we said, you know what, we have definitely got too stuck in the mud with this. We are saying to ourselves that it has to happen in this route. We have to get this visa. We have to save up this amount of money. We have to do it this way because we don't see any other way. What happened was my husband got a link sent to him from his aunt to LinkedIn, and it was from the Department of Education's International Teaching Pool. Now, as a teacher, that is the visa that he got. Now, we never, ever, ever, because apparently this scheme, this is the 4th year that this has been running, we had never heard of it before. So we had no idea that actually the better route for us all round was to be sponsored, because not only will they sponsor him, they will pay for it all. They'll pay for the flights, the visa, they give us a relocation package so that we can fully fund everything that you see in this room, in this house. They reimburse us with all of that. They helped with so many different things. It was just absolutely incredible. And we never, ever in our wildest dreams thought that that was something that could happen. We knew that Dubai did something like that for teachers, but we never heard of it happening in Australia. So in our head, for the best part of 8 years, we thought that we had to save up tens of thousands of pounds, that we had to do the independent visa route and go through the skills assessment and do everything else. And what happened was, if you look back on my Moving to Australia series, I broke down how we went about getting our 482 visa. And I explain in that we were told that Mikey could never teach in Australia because a technicality with his qualifications and all of this other stuff. And we thought that our dream was gone. And then this came into our path. And the 2 times that myself and my husband had a conversation and we said, we're getting too stuck in this, our mind is controlling everything, it's draining us, we're exhausted because we feel like it has to be this way and it's not working. The minute that we had decided that we weren't going to get in our own way anymore, the literal next day, an email would come through with the next steps in the process, or here's an interview, or oh, now you got the job, the sponsorship has come up, completely out of the blue. I feel like that is the best way to work with the universe on this, because it's a co-creation process. The universe is like, okay, I will give you your desire if you can get out of your own way and be open to getting it in a different way. And I feel like for me in my entire life so far, I have very much gone in with this approach of I am open to things being better than I expected. Show me how good it gets, you know, because there are things that have happened in my life, the timing that was just not on my agenda, that were complete surprises to us, and they have been the most amazing parts of my life so far. When it comes down to what we want and the desires and the goals that we have, I do believe that we very much believe that we want those things, but it can be a lot better than what we think it can be. So yes, we have moved to Australia. I didn't have to spend tens of thousands of pounds to afford a visa. I haven't had to save up another 10, 20 grand so that we can furnish the house. We didn't have to even pay a bond on our rental. We haven't had to do any of those things because the universe was like, it can be a lot better. Now, obviously, there are things that are within this move that we are in our regional area. So we are 2 hours outside of Perth, an hour away from the coast. We didn't get to choose our house. It was just given to us, but we have landed so well. The house is huge. It is a little bit dated, but again, it still feels very modern. It's very bright. It's very spacious. We are so happy with it. We have very much gotten used to, I think, the drive to Perth now. Being 2 hours, like, it's not much of an issue for us. We're still connected to things. The isolation feeling that we initially felt with the culture shock is very much starting to go away. We're making friends. We can very much see why we've been put here. You know, we can see how this is going to help us grow as a family. And actually, this is the best possible start for us in Australia, because from a financial standpoint, it's not draining us and we're doing it on one wage. That's what I mean about being open to things being better than you thought they could have been. After 2 years, we get to apply for PR and move wherever we want, but the Department of Education acts as a sponsor for us on that. So it becomes a much more simplified process. When it comes to the manifestation practices, I fully believe that the best way for us to detach from our desires and to surrender to things is focusing on how you feel at every single point in the time. In the whole journey of being sponsored, we put our house up for sale, not having a job lined up, but we just trusted the process. and we were told, actually, pull your house off for sale, it's not guaranteed you're going to get a job, etc., etc. But we very much believe this was put in our path for a reason, so we're going to go all in on it. That was very stressful. We had no certainty of anything, which very much messes with our heads, and we were always raised to be certain and be sure about things before we make decisions, and we weren't sure about any of it. The chaos of the emotions was really, really difficult for us. It was very stressful. There were so many points in time where we felt like, oh my God, we should just stop this altogether. With manifestation, you manifest based on how you feel. And if we kept going down the route of, I am stressed, I expect things to be stressful, and I don't do anything to manage those emotions, then I fully believe that we would have manifested more stress. And whenever something chaotic around us in our external environment has happened, the first thing that we now do is we stop ourselves and we say, okay, we need to focus on how we feel right now, because contributing more stress to this already chaotic environment isn't going to benefit anyone. Things like meditation, I meditate before I go to sleep every single night, just for 10 minutes, and it does a world of difference. I do EFT tapping, which is emotional freedom technique, and that's tapping on the meridian points on our body, our head, pulse points, just your bra strap line under your arm, collarbones, really just acknowledging to yourself, like, I feel stressed. I don't know how things are turning out. I don't know what's happening. That makes me feel out of control, which is just making me spiral. It's making me feel like nothing's ever going to go my way. And when you say those things out loud and you validate those emotions for yourself, it sends a signal to your amygdala in the brain, which says, I'm safe. It calms your nervous system down. It's a physical way of helping you calm down. And I have found it worked so well for me. I was introduced to it a couple of years ago, and then when I went through therapy, my therapist said about it as well, and I said, brilliant, I know I already like doing that, let's do that together. And it really helped me work through a lot of childhood trauma as well. So I would highly recommend that. But there's so many different ways that you can focus on making yourself feel good, right? You can do different self-care practices. You can go work out, go to the gym. You can, spend time with your family, laughing, watch a movie. Journaling is another great one. My best friend actually has just released a 90-day journal with a prompt a day for women with ADHD who want to really take back that creative control in their life. You can get it on Amazon. I'll link that in the description if you want to have a look at that. But journaling in general, just writing things down, getting it outside of your head, is so beneficial, because trying to hold your thoughts in your head is like trying to hold water in your hands. It's impossible. It makes things very, very difficult. You just end up making a mess. Getting things out in the open, acknowledging how you feel, validating yourself and how you feel, instead of thinking, well, I'm stressed, I need to automatically change how I feel. There's a big thing that came up in manifestation, especially when I was first introduced to it, was this idea that you have to feel high vibe in order to manifest the things that you want, or you have to be on the same vibration as the desire that you have. And I think that confused me for a long time, because it made me feel shameful if I had lower vibration emotions or negative emotions, or if I felt sad or angry or whatever. And then I would feel panicky, thinking, well, if I think this is going to happen. And that's not the case at all. We get to decide how we want to feel every single day. And even if you wake up one morning, you feel completely emotional and you don't know why, the only thing that you ever need to do is help yourself come back to a sense of calm, a sense of neutral. And you do that through those practices, like I just said, where you try and make yourself just feel calm, like move through the emotion, because emotion itself is energy in motion. Allow it to move through, validate how you feel, and then you'll find that a lot easier to then move on to, okay, I'm open to feeling calm today. And then it's from that point that you start to be able to think clearly, and your intuition can come through, and you can think of these ideas and the next step to take. And it doesn't come from a place of emotional chaos and erratic thoughts. Even things like our house sale back in the UK, we went through an absolute crazy month with that. We got told that there was no building regulation certificate. It didn't exist. It was never registered. There was a ton of paperwork missing. And we basically thought we were going to have to get the builders to come out, or the council to come out, do another inspection whilst we're in another country. It was adding all this stress. We were going to lose our buyer. We can't sell the house without this paperwork in general. Oh my God. And I kept saying, I am open to the best case scenario. I am open to this being so much easier than I think it has to be. And it was just this week that we randomly, the builders were like, first of all, I put in a complaint. Then the builders were like, oh, we've got the building regulation certificate. Here you go. What's the missing paperwork? Oh, I've let the legal team know. Then I got an email this morning. I've sent it over to your solicitor, you're all good to go. When you really focus on how you want to feel, you say, well, I don't want to feel stressed. I'm going to do things that make me de-stress and feel calm and feel a sense of happiness and peace within myself. Then you take the action based on that feeling. You're open to new perspectives. You're open to things being easier. You're open to being pleasantly surprised. I genuinely feel like that then works so much easier. And I've had so many people DM me on Instagram from watching I moved to Australia saying, we're having so much stress with our visa, we've still not got it through. Do you have any advice? One woman messaged me a couple of days ago about that before the weekend. I gave her some advice. She messaged me at the start of the week saying our visas have just come through. Now, this was a couple who were told that their visas might just be cancelled. They might not get them at all. And then she's just messaged me. She's like, oh my God, thank you for your support. Like, you've really kept me sane. And that's the idea. We want to keep ourselves sane. If you are a little bit teased off with manifestation advice out there, being a bit too fluffy, a bit too out there, a bit too intangible, really try this way of making it practical in your life. Focus on how you feel and then brainstorm some steps that you could take, some different perspectives that you could get on something. Be open to things being easier than it has to be, and I promise you things will actually start to happen much better in your life. If this is something also that you're really interested in, I have a private group called the Reinvention Coven, and it's for women who are interested in that practical manifestation, who enjoy a more spiritual approach to things. We talk about human design, astrology, using those different transits to make ourselves feel better in the moment, do things in a way that is completely unique to us. I'm not interested in a cookie cutter way of doing things. I want my own way, my own path in life. And that's exactly what we do in that group. And it's only $29.99 to join. And that's all you will ever pay to be in there. And we do some back and forth, some mentoring. We've had group calls together for full moon rituals. It's such a great space to be in. So I'll leave that link in the description and you can have a look and join us. And you will also get access to different workbooks as well that I've got in there. You to reinvent your life, reinvent your perspective, work on your goals, look at your human design, your astrology, using ChatGPT, doing all the fun things. Because when we can make life feel fun again, I feel like that is one of the biggest ways that we can really work on how we feel in the moment. And when things feel fun, we are much more likely to stick at things, to see things through. And even when it gets hard, we still keep going. So if that's something you're interested in, you can have a look. Again, please feel free to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. It's amazing having people here, and as well as the Australia journey and working on all of our goals and all of the home decor stuff, settling kids in and family vlogs. Aside from all of that, I would love to create more content like this. There's already some more. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom at the channel, you'll see much more videos like this. But I really love it. It's a daily practice that I do in my life and it means a lot to me. So I will see you guys soon. Have a lovely week. Bye.